Hello and welcome to The Hero Spouse. I'm Kendra Ruth, here to answer one of your questions about marriage and midlife crisis. Today we have a left behind and forward moving female spouse who is bomb dropped is August 1st of 2020 and a date of marriage of 2018. She has an off and on and she's not familiar with energy level types. She says, the communication we have is at a minimum. He has an alienator, and I'm not sure if he has one anymore because there have been several. And he's moving away for work. There has been one main alienator, and she might have been there before we were married. I've tried to speak to him about reconciliation, but he is in the same place, and he says we're not going to have this conversation again, and that it has been enough time for me not to still feel this way or have feelings, although I do. His actions are confusing since he hasn't filed for divorce. We don't have kids or a home together. Did this make it easier for him to leave? Is it easier for him not to fight about this? I'm so nervous and afraid to contact him when it comes to helping with the bills. Is this normal? What do you recommend? Is there any way emotional connection can start with him again? First, so that we can reconcile. I'm emotionally drained and exhausted. I think of this constantly. Those who know now think and feel I need to move on. But it's not that simple since we're married and not dating. So there are a few very important things that are going on and that you need to do. I'm so sorry. First, I don't know your ages. So let's look at it if you're in the age range from 35 to 55, the MLC age range, and 35 is young. But considering that you had a bomb drop just over 2 years after you got married, there is the possibility, and that you think that this alienator was there before that he was in midlife crisis already, and you married an MLCer. And you may not have known that because the person you met, I don't know how long you were together before that, may have been an MLCer. So that is a possibility. Next, you have tried to speak to him about reconciliation. Stop doing that. What you are doing is you are justifying his reasons to stay gone because you don't get it. And I'm not saying you do or don't, I'm saying his view. You don't get it. He has told you this is the way it is. He has told you, and you won't stop pursuing him, which is a pressure or a push behavior. And as long as you are doing what he has asked you not to do, or through his actions, inactions, and behaviors has said he does not want you to do, you are again justifying why he cannot be in a relationship with you. You are not moving forward with your life to healing. And so what he is seeing is he is seeing the victim. He is seeing the person who is emotionally drained and exhausted and who thinks of this constantly and is pining for him. The why me, the why can't you, the you married me. It's not just dating. Did you know about this possible alienator before you married him? Or was this a surprise that you found out later? He pulled one over on you, if that's the case. And you got into a marriage where the other person wasn't ready for it. Now, if you did know about that alienator, you got into a marriage that was a dangerous and risky marriage already. That doesn't mean it doesn't work. I mean, if it works that we can reconcile within the marriage from infidelity, you can do it from out. But it was very risky. And did you have therapy for that? And why not if you didn't? So I don't know that this is a midlife crisis situation at all. I do know that it is a situation where you married and were not married for very long. And it seems like he has either been in infidelitous, adulterous relationships, having affairs the whole time, or and there hasn't been enough time to sell it, or he could be a serial adulterer. But with only a few years of marriage, we can have somebody who's not always in an affair while married. It stretches over a longer period, but somebody who's not a serial adulterer can have an affair for 2 years. So I can't tell whether he's serial or if he was just at a point where he was having an affair and he was not ready to commit. And why did he commit to you? Who initiated the marriage? Who pursued it? Was it him? Was it you? Did one of you convince the other? And was that fair? What I'm saying is, if you convinced him, did he really want to do it? And he just do it to appease you when he wasn't ready. Because only 2 years later, he's saying he wants out. And now he is fed up and impatient with your emotionality. And your emotionality is understandable. It's understandable to those of us who are in the betrayed seat. But to him, he's got a big eye roll going on. Why can't she just figure it out? I told her I don't want her, and she won't stop hounding me. That is his perspective. Is it an attractive perspective? If you want to reconcile with him. I'm not saying that's going to happen. The odds are low for all of us. So I want you to look at the odds being low and what you should do with that pathway. But if you are going to reconcile with somebody and they are annoyed because you won't stop bothering them with, why won't you come back? You married me. You have a duty to be married. We're not just dating. So it's judgmental. It's criticism. It's pressure. It's saying you have to follow your responsibilities. Is that an attractive force? Is somebody ever going to turn back to that and say, yeah, I want that? Especially when he's looking and following all these other options. No. Nobody wants the victim. Sometimes our MLCers go for the victim because they want to be a rescuer, but they don't want their spouse to be the victim. That is a reason to leave the spouse, and it is a reason for some of them to go toward an alienator. Why? Because they failed to rescue you. Whether that's true or not, that is their perspective. They failed to rescue us. So I'm going to go where I am needed, where maybe I haven't failed yet. So I'm going to put in my chances over there at succeeding. I can help that person. I can rescue that distressed damsel. And right now, he is not interested in you as a distressed damsel. It is not going to work. The only way, and I cannot tell you whether he will ever be interested, but the only way to get him interested is to be thriving, to be healed, to be not only leading a successful life, but thriving. That means you are joyful. You get to be an example of what it is to live a good life and be your best self. And that is an attractive force to him and to others. If you can't do that, then he's not going to be interested in you. So that takes you to, well, what do I do to become that best self? You heal. What do you do to heal? You detach. If you need therapy, definitely get some therapy. I'm not saying that to you specifically. I say that to everybody. We all need to have someone to talk to and to help guide us through this. To talk about our pains, maybe to talk about why we are still stuck, why we made certain decisions to get into a certain situation, and how we get ourselves emotionally healthy. So I want you to explore those things with a therapist, okay? And then I want you to work on detachment. I want you to strengthen your emotions, get them stable rather than dysregulated. I think about this every day. And I can't get it out of my head. And it just keeps going and going, and it cascades into bigger and bigger and bigger. The snowball of panic and anxiety comes on. And then I feel like a victim, and I just want to curl up in a fetal position and rock. Or be a puddle on the floor and puddle up. Those aren't functional and they're not attractive. You know it. So what can you do to pick yourself up and move forward? Detachment is about mindfulness. So think about the things that you can practice that are going to be mindful. Different meditations, some hypnotherapy. I love it. I love hypnotherapy. It's my thing. But if you talk to a hypnotherapist, maybe you can get some help with stopping all of the thought cycling that is in your head and moving, just redirecting your thoughts to something else. That is something that hypnotherapy is great for. I want you to focus on you rather than thinking about him. And if you're stuck on the thoughts of him, you might need additional help to redirect those thoughts, okay? It's not as simple. Moving forward and healing from this, it's not simple, but you can do it, okay? I hope this helps. And I'll see everybody in the next class.